Okay, so today I just want to talk about some basic steps we just need to keep in mind when we're animating on After Effects. Doesn't even have to be anything complex. If you're just doing simple motion graphics, then this video should apply to your project. Making sure your project looks good in After Effects. It's not just about how you animate things. It's also about how you finish them, how you polish them. In general, like a good animation or motion is a bunch of these small things done right. And let's talk about them. So to start off with number 5, tweening. So if you don't do tweening, please do. The simplest way you can do it is just highlight your keyframes in your timeline and press F9. So what it does is it's going to give you an ease in and ease out effect. So ease in meaning how slow the animation is going to start, and then ease out is the opposite. It's going to end slowly. As you can see, this works wonders. You cannot just have things move pop like that. It's not going to look nice. Like when things move like that, it implies that it doesn't have weight. Things have weight, so when they move around, you're going to see some inertia going on. And easing in and easing out is like surface level tweening that you can use. There's actually a bunch categorized here, as you can see, each with their own different rules. But most people are fine with just ease in and ease out. But if you want to bump it up a step further, I suggest using graphs instead of keyframing your stuff in the timeline. So using graphs can look intimidating at first, but once you understand how it works, like you would want to use it just to show you how to use graphs. So if there's no tweening going on, you'll see that this line is just being very sharp here. There's no flow, like it's just going straight and then it stops, bends, does something else, right? So for the motion to be like fluid and for it to have proper speed and weight, an easy way to do it is just to reflect that flow in your graph lines. Rather than it having to turn the sharp corner here, just bend it. Not bending it randomly, like how you would bend your levels or curves in Photoshop. It's kind of similar. The idea is that the higher you go in the graph, the higher the value of the tweening. So because of that, I tend to not go too high. As long as the curve makes sense, that works. And there you go. So for the next point, let's talk about using motion blur. Okay, so if you're not doing special effects, you're doing like 2D stuff on After Effects instead. Turning on motion blur just goes a long way. What it does is it smoothens out your animation, especially when things are moving fast and rapidly. It makes things move a bit fluidly, and it's also softer on the eyes. And it can take a bit of render speed. So that's why you just like make sure to turn it on at the end of your project just to see how it looks like before you render. So number 3 is timing. Editing with music on After Effects can be a pain because honestly the timeline there sucks. But timing your animation to the background music shouldn't be ignored. It just adds a lot of depth and emotion to your work. And like usually I would see work where they would just animate first and then they just slap in the background music at the end and then it's done. I mean, fine, but try not to do that because the impact of your work can just be so much bigger if you add it to the song of the video, or at least some kind of beat or some kind of percussion. That's still better than just editing and slapping some music for no reason. Alright, so like down in number 2, we have pre-comps. So it's kind of impossible not to use pre-comps because your timeline is just going to be really long vertically and it's going to be harder for you to edit. So with pre-comps, you can just work in compartmentalized workspaces throughout your whole project. You can edit something within the confines of its bubble and not really having to worry about the original timeline of your project. So make sure you use them. Alright, so for number 1, like I just cannot wait to say it. Yet I don't see anyone doing it, myself included, maybe most of the times when it doesn't concern anyone else. But please name your layers because your work file is going to be really heavy. It's going to be a lot, especially if you haven't opened the file like in a month or something. Like not even a month, just give it like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. You're going to forget it and then you're not going to be able to know what you're supposed to do. And it hurts really bad, especially if you need to relink missing footages and then you don't know where you kept them and you don't know what they're supposed to be. Good luck finding
save_image 1001_final
in your project. So those are the top 5 things that you need to keep in mind when you animate on After Effects. At the end of the day, you just want your work to look clean. So like, especially nowadays with a lot of automated work on the rise, photo or video editing apps, right? They have all these automated effects and presets in them, and they all use these fundamental rules. So if you don't use it, you're gonna lose to an app. Alright, I hope that video was insightful. Don't forget to give our channel a like and subscribe if you haven't, because it's just the right thing to do. We're gonna have a lot of tutorials coming up your way as well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.